friendly operator remaining. Be advised, Op 4 has located a bomb. Op 4, last operator standing. Friendly's victorious. Hostiles eliminated.
There's an irony to online games that I find very fascinating. In a single player game, once the story's over and the credits roll, that's it. Wait for the next one. But in an online game, every time the match ends or the session comes to a close, I can always start a new one. And with the content drops coming every season or every year, there's always something new to do, and the liveliness of other players being around you makes this whole game feel alive and something that feels active. But when the community's gone or the servers shut off, the game becomes unplayable and effectively it's dead. For example, one of my earliest memories of ever playing an online game with my brother and my friends was Resistance 2. We used to do co-op sessions all the time, and we often talk about returning to that game, but in 2014, Sony turned off the servers for all of the Resistance games, and that's basically become impossible at this point. But it's not just games being dead. Modern online games, especially the ones that have long lifespans, that span well over 5-10 years, those games go through a lot of changes. Seasonal changes, engine jumps, expansion passes. The version of a game that you and I play today is very different than the version people were playing last year. And it's probably significantly different than the version that people were playing 5 years ago, and it might not even be recognizable with the version people were playing 10 years ago. Think about it. If you and I were to jump into World of Warcraft today, the experience you and I would have would be nothing like the experience that players had when Wrath of Lich King came out back in 2008. World of Warcraft during that time was the biggest game in the world. Everyone was excited, and the content that was being dropped by these expansions was things that nobody had ever done before in the MMO space, and that excitement made the community much more lively and active. But today, the player base is significantly smaller, and the excitement revolving around World of Warcraft is very different. This difference in atmosphere and the general vibe of the community would definitely make our experience in Azeroth way different than the people who were jumping in 10 years ago. Even with the games that I grew up playing, when I played Dota 2, its HUD looked like this. Now it looks like this. And the games went through an engine jump as well, so the game even looks very different, and the heroes have been reworked. Another game that's changed a lot in the few years that it's been out, Blizzard's hero shooter Overwatch. When I played Overwatch, Mercy was changing the whole course of battle with a single click of a button. If you play that game today, that move has been changed significantly, and the use of Mercy has been altered drastically because of it. Those days when the games that I used to play back in the day existed the way I recognize them, those days are long gone. Effectively, the games that are playable today aren't the games I have memories of. And yeah, that makes me very sad. But that's also the reason why the memories I have of those games are so meaningful to me. That's an experience and a part of my life that I'll never be able to return to. And I think that's an outlook that makes those games feel so significant. A lot of the time, people play online games to sort of pass the time, kind of get their mind off of things. And it can feel like you're kind of wasting your time with an online game because, well, you might not even remember what you did with those hours. But if we change the perspective a little bit and you think about that's a moment in history where you and a large group of players shared an experience, and that experience isn't able to be repeated today, that makes those experiences feel so much more important. And I guess the message I'm trying to get out is when you play a multiplayer game and you have all your friends around and there's a large community all excited to share in this experience, cherish it, because that's a moment in history that will eventually go away. And that excitement around the game that you're playing currently isn't going to last forever. Either that game will meet its end, or maybe the game will change so much that that game that you fell in love with isn't the game you're playing anymore. And when a multiplayer game is gone, it's gone. And it's unrealistic to expect every game to be so lucky that 5-10 years down the line, it's gonna have a resurgence. So the way I'm gonna end this is, one of the games I play very much today is about to go through a massive change. In Rainbow Six, there's a character that came out during launch who was absolute garbage. He became a meme for the community because of how bad he was. But Ubisoft has said that this year they're going to change him, and effectively he won't be the worst operator unanimously anymore. And well, I guess I'm going to be playing this meme lord a lot more, because who knows, I probably might not ever be able to play him again.
Well, at the apartment, they all met their first.